Welcome back to Terror by the Bay. I'm David. Okay, happy birthday to Donald Trump. It is June 14th, allegedly his birthday. Somebody posted up in the comments that June 13th was his birthday, but his father fought to get his birthday changed to the 14th because 13 is an unlucky number. Yeah, I don't know if that's true or not. Entertaining story, nonetheless. It just would go to show you that he started out at the shoot. His life was a fraud from day one. Okay, but I'm going to read on Donald Trump's health. It's June 14th. I have done numerous readings on his health. I keep seeing the health event coming. I thought it was going to happen between the court cases and the decision, or right around decision time. And there hasn't, well, I should say, we've seen his health declining, and it's been there for everybody to see. Maybe in my mind's eye, I was seeing something a bit more dramatic and with some flair. But I want to read on his mental health and his physical health, specifically his brain and his heart. See, it's a race to see which one's going to give out first. Now, all joking aside, we are talking about another human being's health here. Donald Trump's under an immense amount of stress. He has lost his last 5 court cases. In no particular order: the first E. Jean Carroll case, the second E. Jean Carroll case, the Trump org case, the Trump civil trial with Letitia James, and the Trump criminal trial with Judge Merchan and Alvin Bragg. And reportedly, after Trump was convicted, he got on the phone, or he met up with Mike Johnson and basically said, we have to overturn this conviction. Which then led, I've got notes here. I've got a whole page of notes here on this one. Mike Johnson came up with a 3-pronged attack plan. There was going to be a bill to move state cases, to allow current presidents and former presidents to move state cases, both civil and criminal, to federal courts. The House is also looking at attacking the funding for like special counsels like Jack Smith, and Jim Jordan has been demanding that Alvin Bragg testify before his House committee. Alvin Bragg's office pushed back and said, well, we're not doing it on the timeline you want, so maybe we can negotiate a day, and maybe you could tell us a little bit more about precisely what it is we're supposed to be testifying. So you can see where the House GOP are trying to protect Trump and come up with this 3-point plan to protect him. But then, it doesn't stop there. Do you remember a month ago or so, Mitt Romney was out there saying that if he were President Biden, he would have pardoned Donald Trump in like January or February of 2021? That's like the first go of that. So Mitt Romney was ahead of the curve by at least a month. There's a New York representative named Claudia Tony. And let's see if I'm reading my own. Is it Tenny or Tony here? I've got it up here. Tenny, excuse me. Tenney. She has messaged Governor Hochul of New York, asking the governor to pardon Donald Trump because it was clearly, I'll paraphrase here, but it was clearly a political witch hunt and a travesty of justice, and she's a MAGA. She's a full-on Trump supporter, full-breathed and everything along those lines. So you have Mike Johnson in the House trying to figure out how to overturn it. You've got former senators asking Biden to pardon Trump, but that's not for state crimes, that's for federal crimes. You've got the House trying to make it in such a way that you can turn state crimes to federal crimes. And then you've got reps in New York asking the governor to pardon Trump. So have I missed anything here? I think on my notes, that pretty much is the summary of those notes as far as his criminal trial goes. I've got all sorts of other notes on here, and it's going to lead to a bunch of different readings. But the take-home point of this is that this criminal conviction has really hit Trump hard. It's hit him smack between the eyes. And it might be that he's just always gotten away with it, and he's now been convicted of 34 felonies. And he's going to be held to account for it. And he's in absolute panic. That was like, I did a reading this morning just looking at his mental state because of all this. Because it was something that I was thinking about this morning, and Dave Johnson actually had a video up there. So this is kind of a more in-depth follow-up, or was going to be a more in-depth follow-up. But I think I'm going to read both on his, I'm going to read on his physical health, since I covered his mental health. And with his physical health, I'm going to focus on his brain and his heart. And we'll see where we go from there. Sorry for the long intro, but it sets the table for what's coming on. Okay? We'll lengthen the intro just a little bit more. I've got a collab with Linda G that we're recording today at 10 o'clock. Today, actually, I should say, recording Saturday at 10 o'clock. This video was recorded on Friday and will go up Friday night, early Saturday morning. So for many of you, by the time you've seen this, I will be recording with Linda G. And my brother is going to be on there too. We're going to have a good old time. That'll go up on her channel. I'm not sure when. Also, I do have two other channels, Tarot of the Seven Seas and Twin Tarot with Gary and David. Gary is my identical twin brother. If you like this channel, check out my other channels. Link in the description and on the community page. All right, all the pimping done. Come on down. Let's take a look at Donald Trump's, let's start with his mental health. Or more to the point, let's look at Donald Trump's overall health here. Excuse me, not his mental health, but his overall health. Entertainment purposes only, Spirit. What can you share with us about Donald Trump's health? My deck is upside down. Okay, so we are looking at genetics. Pentacles, this is the foundation card. Foundation of the reading is the 10 of coins. Underneath, by the way, is the page of pentacles. But we'll focus on the 10 of coins for a second. Coins are about health, wealth, values, that sort of thing. And in this coin, and it's also about ancestry, lineage, DNA. You've got the grandfather, the children, and the grandchildren. A couple of dogs in there too. Donald Trump hates dogs, but go figure. In this case, I think what we're seeing with his health right now is something that's genetic with him. And we know his father had Alzheimer's or had dementia. And I think we're definitely seeing dementia in with Donald Trump. But his health is basically out there for everybody to see. He's at the end of his health run. But there is, we've got health at the foundation of the reading. Crossing it is the Hanged Man. He's done it to himself through, and underneath this page of pentacles, through a lifetime of abuse to this man's body. He is now reaping the rewards of what he's done to himself. His family tends to be long-lived, but that doesn't mean they keep their marbles their entire lives. Donald Trump has not taken good care of himself. He's under an enormous amount of stress, and his health is about to take a big directional change. Something he's not used to. He's not used to being unhealthy. No, he's been blessed with very good health. And that, again, looks like it's going to change. Tarot is not the greatest with timing. My last couple of readings, I've asked by the summer solstice, how did things look? In that last reading, it said that, it looked like the health event would have happened by then. We've only got a week, less than a week to go with that. I'm not necessarily confident that the energies haven't changed. Don't get don't get the champagne on ice too quickly for the summer solstice. But hey, you never know. Underneath it is the Page of Pentacles, messaging about health. In that previous reading that I did, there are people trying to talk to him about his health, whether it's a doctor, family members, handlers. There are people talking to him about his health in his unhealthy ways. I could also translate this to say he's been unhealthy since he was a little kid. He literally is that little kid that said when he was like 6 years old or something like that, or 3 or 4, I'm never eating a vegetable again. And then didn't, to prove a point that you couldn't force him to. So, people are talking to him about it, but the terrible 2-year-old in him isn't going to listen. Asking about his health in the past is the 9 of Wands. He had a major health scare, if you remember, with COVID. That's the only time we've seen him sick, and that pretty much would have taken him out. Curse free will. Because that was an exit point like none other. And it would have been incredibly appropriate that after all the vaccine denials and well, it wasn't vaccine denials. We didn't have the vaccine at that point, but all the shenanigans going on with the pandemic and shutting the government down and things along those lines, it would have been karmic for him to have died of COVID after dismissing it and devaluing any of the safety measures and blaming everybody else for the problems. But that didn't happen. He survived. And so he's had a health scare. But I think also, as we have the damage to the head too, he knows mentally he's slipping. This is why, I'm sorry, I keep moving the camera. This is why he keeps attacking Biden. Sleepy Joe. Who is the guy actually falling asleep in the court cases? Why, that would be Donald Trump. Biden's an idiot. He's dumb. He's old. His brain's turned to styrofoam. But Trump is the one that's rambling word salads and can't speak coherently, can't carry a thought all the way through. So he's projecting. He's projecting what he's seeing happen to him onto Joe Biden. So Trump has known for a while that his health is in decline. He's just in denial. He's known for a while, but is in denial. And then he tries to hand it off to somebody else so that he doesn't have to deal with it. Doesn't quite work that way. Current situation is the Queen of Swords. You basically, he's at the point where he is reaping what he's sown. He has tried to push off, his bad behaviors onto other people. It's not my fault, But in the end of the day, you can't lie to your own body. You can't lie to how you treated it. And the Queen of Swords basically says, hey, if you want to eat well-done hamburgers and ketchup and drink Diet Coke all day long and never look at a vegetable in your life, that's great. But there are consequences for this. And congratulations, here come the consequences. The overarching energy is the King of Pentacles. He's got nobody else to blame for his health but himself. This is the king who's lived an unhealthy life, and now he's got gout. I don't know if Trump has gout or not, but an orange-faced king here. This is, your lifestyle has led to the problems you have here. There is nobody else to blame but yourself on this. And again, this is just literally, you reap what you sow. If you live by the sword, you die by the sword. If you want to party and do all the things you want to do, that's great. But there's a price to pay, and the payment is due. The lesson to be learned is the Nine of Cups. Hopes, wishes, dreams fulfilled versus the smug merchant. Trump, for the most part, has gotten away with it his entire life. And it's ironic that these health issues might actually slow down the court cases against him, because if he's not healthy enough to stand trial, he may not be healthy enough to be sentenced to prison. And then that works in his favor, because I think Donald Trump is scared to death of being incarcerated. Oh, yeah, and that's going to link up to another reading. Apparently, he's scared to death of sharks. You know, that whole story about the shark and the battery thing that he's been rambling about? Apparently, he had told Stormy Daniels at one point, I've got an article over here that I saw this, I didn't know this until I read it, that he's terrified of sharks. And he says he gives lots of money to charities, but he won't give money to any charity that helps sharks. He wants all those things to be dead. Why? How much time do you spend in the water? I've never seen him in the water. So what are you worried about sharks for? But I think it's just more the metaphor that he's terrified of certain things, and he won't want to have to deal with it. He's terrified of sharks. He's terrified of going to prison. But you know what? This health event may be his get out of jail free card. He may not have to go to prison if he has a major health event. Again, Libby has, and I've given Libby credit so many times on this one, and I'll do it again. She was seeing his, now this is a few weeks ago, things might have changed, but in her reading a few weeks ago, she saw his health event timing right around the time of him being sentenced. Him finding out that he could be or is going to prison. And now what is he going to do? He's going to want to jump. He wants to short circuit. He wants to jump on that battery and short circuit his body, so he doesn't have to face the shark and face his own mortality as the shark moves in for the kill. He'd rather, electrocute himself, go numb, or whatever. Now think of the shark as being a metaphor for prison, which is all he's scared of. Out comes the moon card. Yeah, he's going crazy. He is losing his mind. Confusion, whether he's faking it or not, is irrelevant. With all this stress and all this health thing, yeah, his mind is going, and it's the Alzheimer's, believe it or not, that's really going to wipe him out. Now, that doesn't mean he won't have a heart attack. That doesn't mean he won't have a stroke. But the Alzheimer's is there for everyone to see. Now, and that's interesting, because I think when I've looked at the health events I've never asked about the Alzheimer's or the dementia. I've always asked about heart attacks or strokes. But I think what this is saying here is that, no, it's the Alzheimer's. The Alzheimer's is here. It's for everybody to see. And it is here for everybody to see. Think about it. I mean, how many examples did I give just now of sharks and batteries? That whole thing started because he was at a rally in Las Vegas and the teleprompter went down. So he decided he was going to fill the airwaves with his little ramblings and musings about sharks and batteries and things along those lines. Nobody asked him. You're watching him speak, and he's worried about securing the airports during the Revolutionary War and Biden starting World War II. And you start running out of the things that he said, because he said so many of them you can't keep track of all the insanity. Windmills killing whales or something along those lines. It's just he's losing it. He's losing it. Multiple people have mentioned a podcast about two doctors looking at Trump's mental decline. And, they're seeing it. Folks that have dealt with Alzheimer's patients are seeing it. We're all seeing it. And even the Trumpers are seeing it. And it probably breaks their hearts to see dear leader, falling down like that. But, you think about it. Apparently, him having 34 felonies isn't slowing him down. But maybe if his brain is tapioca because he's got dementia, maybe they don't want him to be president because he won't remember all the promises he said he was going to do. I don't know. There's probably no helping him. But no, big health event right now is his Alzheimer's. His Alzheimer's is what's there for everybody to see. Okay, I don't know if he has Alzheimer's. I think that's a specific thing. His dementia. His mental decline is there for everybody to see. To the point where John Handy's trying to get him out of the debates. Right? Oh, some people are saying maybe Trump shouldn't debate until after the the Republican convention. Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. Of course they don't want Trump to debate Biden before the Republican convention. Because if he goes out there and spews a word salad, what are those delegates going to want to do? They're going to want to put Nikki Haley in there. Right? I'm so thick sometimes I miss the obvious stuff. That reading went up this morning too. All right, let's look at Trump's heart. Given the betrayals that have happened with Hope Hicks testifying against him and Michael Cohen testifying against him and that Stormy Daniels woman he never met before testifying against him and David Pecker who Donald Trump has always been so generous and kind with, testifying against him. All these betrayals. And then, the only thing that makes him feel better, not even, is having all these Republican Congress people come up with their red ties and break the gag order for him. So let's look at his heart. Okay? Entertainment purposes only. What's the condition of Donald Trump's heart? Let's mix it around a few more times, make sure we've got the heart in here. Donald Trump's heart. What can you tell us about his health? His heart health. Should he be eating a couple more almonds a day and maybe taking that baby aspirin? Pentacles are about health. Foundation of the reading is the Four of Pentacles. Keeping information, keeping his health tightened down, buttoned down, not letting people know what's going on. If we're talking about his heart here, maybe he's had some chest pains that he's not letting people in on. Ouch. Okay. For those of you who are betting at Vegas and betting on the heart taking him out, that might not be a bad bet. Crossing this, keeping this medical information close to the vest is the death card. Endings, bringing things to a close. The king is dead, long live the king. And Donald Trump's trying to make himself the king. Again, entertainment purposes only. I am not saying Donald Trump is going to have a heart attack. But when we're asking how his heart health is, one might say it's not so good. He could have a heart attack. It could even be like one of those Widowmaker heart attacks. Or it could be something that requires him to have heart surgery or something along those lines. But wow, the death card crossing the four of coins. That's not great. And then underneath it, of course, is everybody's favorite, the Five of Wands, otherwise known as, and everybody all together now, the Drunken Hillbilly Brawl card. Because there ain't no brawl like a hillbilly brawl. This is all the stress that he's under. All the things that he's doing. He doesn't eat well. He doesn't rest. He doesn't sleep well. He's just, and people would argue that he's a speed freak. And this is just one of those abuses to his body that's coming up and it's impacting his heart. If he doesn't de-stress, that heart is going to be a very, very big problem for him. In the past, we've got the Justice card here. He's lost 5 cases in a row, and the last case was a criminal case, 34 times felons. 34 felonies. He's now a convicted felon. That is weighing heavily on his heart. Very heavily. And he's over there scrambling, asking Mike Johnson to overturn it. And all these people are scrambling around trying to overturn this conviction. This conviction, I'm telling you, and I forget which intuitive said it. Might have been Kim. I don't remember who it was. Could have been Susan Lynn. Was basically saying this conviction is the one that brings him down. And I can see that because it's blowing up his legacy and it pierces the Teflon Don veil that he's tried to put up there. And he can't get out of it. Nico's asleep. I know you can't see him. Let me turn the brightness up. I'm just going to wash myself out for a second. There he is, sleeping. Brightness down back to where it was before, or close to it. Okay, so bring it back down. Current situation. So this court case really laid into him. Current situation, 4 of Cups. Nobody's offering him anything that makes him feel better. You know, Hunter Biden's 3 felony charges, for some reason, failed to make him feel better. His 3 felony convictions for Hunter Biden. Congratulations, you got Hunter. It doesn't make Donald Trump feel any better. Going after, asking the governor for a pardon doesn't make him feel better. Now, if the governor pardons him, he'd feel better for a brief moment. But nobody's offering him solutions that he wants. Again, he's the 2-year-old pouting because he's going to be held accountable. He's going to have his favorite toys taken away from him, and he's going to have to stand in the corner, be in a big, long timeout. He doesn't like it. And I also think people are trying to guide him on, things you need to do better. Drink your celery juice here and, take these tablets. He doesn't want to do it. He's emotionally checked out. I think he's so angry that he got held accountable that he's just not going to listen to anybody. He basically, listening for Donald Trump became a one-directional thing. He speaks and his ears don't work. He tells you what he wants you to do, and your job is to go do it. And his ears don't work unless you're showing him something he wants, in which case he'll shut his mouth and his ears will open up. But that's the case. Overarching energy is the judgment card. He's lost 5 court cases. He's about to hear from the judge what the punishment is. And he's not going to like what he gets. There's nothing the judge could give him that he wants, because what he wanted was total and complete and utter exoneration in probably the mass execution of the district attorney's office, all the witnesses, and the judge's daughter and the judge too. That's what he wanted, but nobody seems to be offering him that. What he's going to get instead is judgment. The clarion call of the trumpet. Judgment and the death card with justice. Oh, man, not a good spread for Mr. Trump. Lesson to be learned is the King of Swords. And, the judge is going to... You've gone after this judge. This judge is still going to give you a sentence that's going to be appropriate for your actions. You also have Jack Smith to deal with. He hasn't gone away. And you made your choices, just like that Queen of Swords I had over here. You made your choices, you lived with the consequences. Here are the consequences. These are the consequences of your choices. Asking about his heart. Outcome is the victory, leadership, or the look at me card. If karmically speaking, he was trying to get out of going to jail by having a health event, this could be his champion. That he has some health event and that delays things. Well, if he's going to have his health event before sentencing, he better get on his horse and ride, because he doesn't have much time left here. Six of actions, taking victories. The low energy of this is also basically defeat. He's not a leader of people. You know, honestly, it's really kind of saying his best days are behind him. His day as a celebrated leader are over. And that, again, could be related to his heart. That, were it not for his heart, he could have ridden his horse to victory in November. That type of thing here. Maybe his heart doesn't get him. It might be that if he does have some health issues, he doesn't succumb. But it's stressing him out. Maybe he has a good medical staff that helps him along here. But if I were going to say that his heart is bothering him, and it's funny. Again, not to laugh at somebody's health issues. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. You got the death card and the victory card here. But honestly, I think that victory card is more somebody who had their victories, past victories. The memories of a man in his old age are the deeds of a man in his prime. To quote Pink Floyd off of Adam Hart Mother album. And I think, it's kind of his days as a leader or a champion or something like that are behind him. They're just not there. And maybe, well, you know what? If for some reason he were to die of a heart attack, he would, he'd want a funeral like Queen Elizabeth had. You know what I mean? He'd want a parade and a gold coffin and a gold chariot and the palace guard walking him down the streets and everybody paying their respect. That type of thing. This guy's not going to be remembered for anything but what he did at the end of his life. as it should be. History should have forgotten about this guy. But he made sure he had an indelible mark on history. Okay. Let's look at his mind. Let's look at strokes. What can you tell me about Donald Trump and strokes? Stuff that affects his brain. Wheel of Fortune. He's had them repeatedly. They keep happening. Remember, he's had a number of strokes, or at least we suspect he's had a number of strokes. The Trump team never tells us about them. But I put a thumbnail up when he had that big saliva thing going on. I put a picture up of Trump trying to drink from a glass using two hands, or a water bottle with two hands. That was when he was president, and he purportedly had a stroke, and he was sort of mentally wiped out from that, and he couldn't do normal things like drink like a normal person. So I think this is just saying he's had strokes, he's had a number of them, and he's had them repeatedly. Pair of major arcana in the magician card here. Manifesting. He's manifesting his own strokes. Knight of Swords, and they come quickly. I think there's another one that's coming quickly on this one. Basically, his strokes, he's doing it to himself. He's living in his fantasy world. And notice also you've got the infinity over this guy's brain. This could be causing him an infinite amount of confusion with it. And it could be why he appears delusional, waving to people that aren't there and things along those lines. Part of that might just be for cameras to splice in things later on some Trump propaganda piece. But he also literally could be living in illusion. He's not in the real world anymore. That would not be a surprise. Knight of Swords. Swords are about intellect. Things changing quickly or charging forward quickly. Things moving quickly on this front. In the past, we've got our third major arcana, the Hanged Man, doing it to himself. Now, I'm not sure what one does to the oneself health-wise or stress-wise, that could cause strokes. I suppose if you stress out enough and you're in your own head, that can happen. Much like stress can cause ulcers, but if you're overthinking things or over plotting things, and again, you've got the halo around the hangman's head, looking at things in a different perspective. But we've got a head issue. We've got a head issue. All these head coverings here on these cards. Current situation is the Two of Cups. There's almost, going back to like the Alzheimer's. I'm asking about strokes, but this could also just be the Alzheimer's type stuff. There could be a stroke that happens with this. But, when Trump is trying to talk to CEOs of companies, or he's trying to talk to oil executives, people that he's trying to build relationships with, he rambles. He can't stay on point. He, when he goes to his rallies, you listen to his rallies, he can't finish a sentence. He can't finish a thought. And I think what's happening here with this card, the Two of Cups, people are coming to an understanding that Trump's emotions aren't in control and his mental faculties aren't in control. I often have that line as being Trump, and these two guys are talking like, we better not listen to what this guy's telling us. We've got better things to do with it. This could also be just people This might be people talking behind his back about things that are going on with him and his mental health. And we're seeing it over the airwaves. Things changing quickly. Got the Knight of Swords and the Eight of Wands. His next health event, if it's going to happen, is going to be a stroke, and it's going to happen quick. If this is what's indicated. Previously, I had seen that if he had a health event, it would be there for everybody to see, and this one would be happening quickly for sure. Lesson to be learned is the Two of Wands at a crossroads. Again, there's that free will, whether or not he has the stroke or not. He can change his ways. He could do those type of things to get himself out of stressful situations here. He really needs to just focus on his health. He's not going to do it, but that's what he needs to be doing. He's got a choice here. He's like at another exit point in his life. He's running out of exit points, though. The outcome is the World card, bringing things to a close. I don't know if he has any international trips planned. The World could also be international things here. Also, that his world could be closing up around him. If he has a stroke, all of a sudden, think about this. If he has a stroke, it's like he's like a picture of himself in a frame. And the picture doesn't move. It doesn't communicate. It's just there. It's a memory. It's a memory caught in time. There's no movement. There's no dynamicism with it. Dynamicism? I think that's the word. A lot of major arcana here, too. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4 major arcana in these. If he does have a stroke, it's going to be kind of career ending for him on this. And he's had them. Oh, of course. Wheel of Fortune. This is what's happening now. Recurring strokes. The World card, the outcome, that's the end of the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune are things that are in progress and are happening. The World card is bringing it to its final conclusion. So if I were going to Vegas and betting, it looks like the stroke. It could be both. Again, the heart attack could kill him and just end him there. The stroke could end his political career and his even his threat of going to prison might be ended if he had a major stroke like that. I think it's gonna be, if I were looking at those cards, I say it's gonna be the stroke. That the stroke will wipe him out from politically. The heart attack is probably what's gonna kill him. How about that? There's no reason he can't have both. So Spirit, just give me a general thing. What can we expect with Donald Trump's health up from now until sentencing, or what type of health things is Donald Trump expecting, or might he have on the horizon here? Okay. What's going on with his health that you can tell us? Basically, Two of Wands. Things are coming, planning. We're not here yet. The Moon card. It's kind of a mystery, but he's going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So part of it is his mental health progression with the Alzheimer's, amongst all things, is really the thing that's being out there for everybody to see. And Four of Swords, causing a retreat. I think you're going to see less and less of Donald Trump because he's publicly looking, his public facing is crazier and crazier. And they need to pull him out of that. So he might go silent for a while because he's going crazy. So he's dealing with a lot of his dementia related type things right now. And I think that's what we're talking about. I was mentioning the CEOs with the stroke part over here. Folks on both sides just like, wow, this guy's really lost his edge. He's not the same guy he was in 2016. And it's obvious for everyone to see. The current situation is the Ten of Cups, the emotional completion. These are negotiations, contracts, the completion of things. It's almost like, in the past, when Donald Trump came down here to be born in this family, he knew that dementia was going to be part of the agreement, and now this agreement's being fulfilled. Overarching energies, Queen of Pentacles. There's going to be nursing involved. Somebody's going to be tending to his health because he can't tend to it himself. I'm sure Melania will be there for that. I'm sure Melania in the sexy nurse outfit will be there for that one. Where's Walt Nada when you need him? The lesson we learn is the devil. He's, again, everything that's happening now with dementia, any heart issues, any strokes, stuff like that, he's done it to himself. He has voluntarily done this to himself. He could have decoupled from this, but his decisions to live a life that's just full of decadence and sin and all those things, that's just the consequences of it. And his health is this health issue progresses. He's going to be seeing more and more doctors. He might have some doctors or nurses that are following around with him. There's consultations about his health, and his health progression is just going to progress. To the point, again, where we're going to be seeing him less and less. It looks like, I'm not seeing, and I don't mean to build everybody up here from those previous readings. I'm not seeing that big event like I was seeing before. I'm not feeling it. I'm feeling it's almost like it's the dementia that is going to be the deal breaker for him. Almost like, if Donald Trump had a heart attack, then all his supporters would be angry because, if the Dems did that to him, or if he had a stroke, all his supporters would be angry because the courts did that to him. But if he has Alzheimer's or if he has dementia, that's a hereditary thing. You can't blame the Democrats for his family's health issues. And that might be the path that we're on right now. Is that satisfying? Whatever. What do we all want in the end of the day? We want that four source. We would just like him to be quiet and go away. But maybe he needed to be around stirring more stuff up so that women don't forget to vote and young people are motivated to go out and vote, and that we all get out and vote and really push forward a Congress that can help people in the future. It could be something, I don't want to say it's us to blame, but that would be one reasonable explanation for why he's still around. And another one could be that his followers just weren't going to accept him leaving any other way. But maybe him having Alzheimer's or something like that, and just being, with a brain like tapioca pudding, might be enough for them to just sort of, disperse. I don't know. Not wishing ill on anyone, but there we have it. Okay, I'm going to leave it here. 46 minutes is long enough, I suspect. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for your likes, shares, comments, everything you do to feed the YouTube algorithm so this video makes it out to a wider audience. To folks discovering this channel recently or for the first time, welcome to the channel. I hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.